All right. I know you've been poring over it, and because that's what you have to do today.
Yes.
What did you find?
All right, so big budget items for the Hunter have survived in last night's federal budget, which was geared to trim billions of dollars off the government's bottom line. Now, Treasurer Jim Chalmers confirmed commitments to a port hydrogen hub for Newcastle, which is around about $100 million this financial year, and $55 million for the Newcastle Airport upgrade, and $500 million for the start of work on the long-promised, long-thought-about Newcastle to Sydney high-speed rail link. Watch that space for as long as you like.
Yeah, we actually said to Bob Hawes from Business Hunter yesterday, look, we've been talking about that from first date through to divorce.
Yeah.
But we've got another announcement, so that's
Well,
something.
maybe it is going to happen. We'll just see. Also, a $268 million commitment was confirmed for the Muswellbrook bypass, while the town centre upgrade is getting $10.5 million, and there's a further $5.5 million for the grandstand at Olympic Park. Now, the biggest item of new spending is the $28.7 million over 6 years to restore ongoing funding for the GP Access After Hours service. This is something that the local Hunter Labor MPs have been talking about for some years now, and there's some contention as to whether this is needed or not, but it's been shown in the past to be a very valuable service, freeing up the emergency departments at hospitals and what have you. Interestingly, Labor has now matched the Coalition's $56 million pre-election commitment to upgrade Mandalong Road, after initially pledging just $30 million. Lake Macquarie Independent State MP Greg Piper said at the time $56 million would be needed to build the whole thing, including all the bells and whistles. So they've gone and matched that, which is good. Lake Macquarie Council is also getting $10 million for a grouting fund and a further $10 million for a permanent dredge for Lake Macquarie, which of course was promised during the election. Labor is also delivering on a commitment to open 49 urgent care clinics across Australia in the next 12 months, including one at Cessnock. But more broadly, there's a commitment to build 1 million new homes by 2030 to address Australia's housing crisis. So we'll see how that rolls out. But for families, the announcement of cheaper childcare and extended paid parental leave will be welcome, as will moves to cut the price of medicines on the PBS by up to $12.50 from January. Now, on the downside, the Treasurer admits energy costs will rise by 50% over the next 2 years, despite an election commitment to cut energy bills by $275 by 2025. Now, the Prime Minister says the ongoing war in Ukraine and the decade-long lack of investment in the electricity network by the previous government is putting pressure on power prices. Also, the promised $1,500 tax cut for low and middle income earners has been axed. Jim Chalmers says we're in for tough times ahead as we brace for a global economic downturn. So, pardon me, get ready for that.
So did you just say that the third stage tax is gone?
Yep.
Okay. Right, so if you...
No, well, hang on. Yeah, the tax cut, the $1,500 tax cut. That's right, the third stage.
Yes.
That's right.
Sorry, yep.
Yeah. So... also, things like the cost of groceries, petrol and rent, they're all expected to rise as inflation is tipped to reach almost 8%. But the government hopes to see this go back down to 3.5% in 2 years. We'll see how they manage to do that.
Yeah, I also saw that they're expecting unemployment to go up by another percent, or rough percent, maybe a little bit more than what it is now over the next couple of years as well. I would love someone to be able to, and I know we can harp on about this one point, but it is so central to everything. The cost of energy, it underpins the cost of everything else, whether you want it to or not. How do you go from a couple of months ago believing earnestly that whatever you look at, here's your last power bill, take $275 off that, that's where we're going, to a couple of months later, no, over the next couple of years it'll rise by 50%. I don't, so was it an untruth then, or was just, oh no, we only had access to the front page of the papers and nothing else?
Yeah, look, it's...
it underpins everything else.
It can be an odd thing. So,
well, here's the thing, though. If it was like, okay, look, $275, that's what we wanted, but look, hey, maybe it's $200, or maybe the bill dropped by $100 or $90. I think people will be very forgiving of that. Well, look, yeah, it did drop, but to then say, no, it's going the other way very quickly.
I don't think they've really factored in the cost of renewables and the switch and
damn
transition
right they
to all
haven't.
that. So,
well,
says Mark Rourke.
Well, the CSIRO said that to change the grid over is $1 trillion. I mean, that's I haven't got $1 trillion lying around.
Oh, that's a shame. Good for
That's a lot
for
of
loan.
yeah. So I mean, they couldn't have factored it in.
No, they didn't. It's clear. So, and of course, when we're talking high inflation, it almost also means that wage growth won't be keeping up with the cost of living. Even though wages will go up, the cost of living will go up faster. Labor says it's delivered a carefully targeted budget to keep the lid on inflation as the first step in the bigger job of budget repair, following also all the COVID stuff we've had to do. And Jim Chalmers says restraint is the name of the game by reining in spending and not overstimulating the economy, which could fuel those inflationary pressures. On the other side of things, our local Nationals MP, member for Lyne, David Gillespie, says, well, actually, it's a bit of a smoke and mirrors budget. He's saying that they basically copied what we did before and just cut and paste with a few little tweaks here and there. Nothing really that's too exciting. But anyway, look, that's the way it is. It doesn't matter which parliamentary team is in. We're facing some difficult times ahead by the sounds of things in terms of the world economy, which is, of course, going to affect us one way or another.
Yeah, and well, we can all agree on that. And with that, yep, you've reached the bottom of the page.
That's right, I have.
Good news, though. May will be here, not before you know it, and then you'll be able to do all of this again.
Yeah, great. two budgets in a year is just, wow.
This is Budget 2022.0.
Yeah.
I've actually just checked on how holiday board outside, and Ian's actually blocked out from May to June, so he won't be here.
So I missed the state budget as well.
It's the state budget. No, I always ask you to come in for the state budget, and you always say bugger that.
No.
No, you don't need to worry about that.
No, don't need to worry about that.
There he is, our news director, Ian Crouch from the, what did I call it before? The Hunter News
Centre.
Hunter News Centre. I like that.
I like that. Sounds like it's a real building just for us.
It does. I don't know if he found any extra dollars for you, but he did have a look at the budget with us there at 2NURFM 103.7.